Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the iPad Pro M4 13-inch Wi-Fi and cellular 512 gigabyte model. We're looking at a silver iPad. So this is the new one. And the 1 terabyte models and 2 terabyte models, you will be getting a option for the nano texture display. So that is a new model. It's only exclusive for the 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte models. As you can see here, we have the 13-inch M4. You can see the details. So let's dive into the unboxing. Start by pulling off these pull tabs here. Each side has one. Satisfying. Okay, so giving a little information, obviously avoiding the serial numbers exposure, but anyway, a little information on the iPad Pro lineup. This came out in, I believe, 2024, late last year, and they released them. So we just got back from the Apple Store, and we were taking a look at the new iPad lineup. So opening this up, this is basically your standard Apple unboxing. Pretty light, honestly, picking it up. I mean, it's thin. You know, it's kind of has a little light weight to it. I've heard it feels similar to other iPads, but considering that for as thin as it is, it's kind of like when you pick it up, it's kind of like light, you know, it has like that light feeling. It's at the 13-inch model is actually just a little thinner than the 11-inch model. So there's 2 different models you can get. Opted for the 13-inch, and they actually give you the charger, the power brick, and a braided USB-C to USB-C cable, which is a nice touch. So this is the screen. Is actually rated for 1600 nits, so that's up to 1600 nits. It's a lot brighter than the previous iPad Pro models. Opening this up, you will see your typical iPad Pro setup guide, and there's really nothing too crazy about this. Let's just take a little look at this. Basically, just a little guide on how to set it up. Yeah, nothing too crazy. And of course you got your warranty information here. So yeah, nothing really too crazy. They do not include Apple stickers anymore. Same as how Apple's trying to go carbon neutral by 2030. So yeah, we have the Smart Folio keyboard. Well, not keyboard, it's just a Smart Folio case. I might get a keyboard as well, but you have that option. I'm going to stick with the blue cover for it. The last one did pretty well, so I upgraded to the newer model. I don't really need a full terabyte of storage on my iPad, so 512 will be more than enough. 256 was pretty good, but everybody has different needs, so I opted for the cellular option just in case if I want to add cellular later, I can add it to my Verizon plan. And we also got the screen protectors, so went to Best Buy, got those. So let's open it, and we will put the screen protector on and power it up. We will peel back the paper here. They used to make this in plastic, but now it's in paper for so yeah, you do get your keyboard connector keys, and there is a look at the iPad. So we're going to flip this over. Without touching the screen. There. And now we will get some tape, and we will get off all the little imperfections, like all the little dust particles on the screen, and we'll get that screen protector on here. Okay, so after trying to get all the little particles out, we finally did. So looks like it is going on nice and smoothly. Nice and smoothly. Let's take a look here. Okay, nice. Let's power this thing on. So we do have our 2 volume controls up here. Sorry, let me zoom out. We have our 2 volume controls. We have our magnetic holder for the Apple Pencil. We do get our side-facing cameras, our horizontal cameras. We get 4 speakers, 2 in the bottom, and then USB-C port. And then up top we have our two speaker ports and our microphone, of course, and clean on this side, nothing, and of course our antennas for the Wi-Fi and cellular. So let's take a look here at the case. Let's pop this guy open. If I can, oh, there's a pull tab up here, so you just pull that back and you should be able to pull it out just like so. And let's put this on. So I got a blue case to match my phone. So we get this big old piece of paper in here, and that is it. And then of course we get our nice cover. So let's put the iPad in here. Really nice looking tablet. I was kind of hesitant on how thin the iPad is, you know, for as far as bending and stuff goes, but looks pretty straight, honestly. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So better be for as much as we pay for them. And it snaps in just like that. And let's power this on. Beautiful. First time owning a big size iPad, so a 13-inch model. As big as they come as far as right now, unless Apple decides to release another big iPad, but boots up pretty quickly. We'll set this up. And we will also be upgrading it to the iPadOS 26. Okay, 2 weeks after owning the iPad Pro M4 2024 edition, how has my experience been with it? Well, it's been pretty decent so far. It is running the newest iOS 26, which is still in the beta development, so I have the beta developer update on it. It is, I believe, up to beta 9. So far, it's actually run pretty good. The operating system has been real smooth for the iPad. It has been fairly decent. It's honestly been pretty good. Face ID's been nice. It's been a pretty good iPad so far. At first, I was kind of hesitant on how structurally strong the frame is, and it's been pretty decent. You know, I don't think it's going to bend by holding it from one side of the iPad and moving it around or anything like that. However, I do notice that even something as simple as the Smart Folio cover for the iPad Pro, this definitely adds a lot of weight. I mean, for something that's as thin and flat as it is and light as it is, it definitely adds a noticeable amount of weight to the iPad itself. It's kind of somewhat like light, like a feather. You know, when you pick it up, it just has like that easy grip lightness to it. But then you notice that there's like a weight, a good size weight to it. It's not bad though, considering the size of iPad it is. I mean, this is the 13-inch model. So, of course, it is going to be a lot heavier than my 11-inch. Well, it's not that it may be more heavier. It's more bulkier. That's for sure. So yeah, is it a device you really want to carry around in your hand all the time? Probably not. It's more of a device to be put in a bag and carried around, just because it's real heavy to be walking around with this everywhere you go. So if you're a person that does a lot of traveling, does a lot of moving around, carrying an iPad with you everywhere, it is going to be kind of noticeable. But if you're somebody that's already used to an heavy iPad, or carrying a laptop, or someone that's used to walking around with a suitcase or something, or briefcase or something, it's going to be pretty unnoticeable. But yeah, just even with adding a smart folio cover, it does add a significant amount of weight to it, considering how thin it is. And it's still thin with the cover on. I mean, you can see the cover doesn't really take up much space. I mean, it's adds a little thickness to it, but nothing crazy. And I mean, you can see how thin the iPad is. I mean, it's definitely thinner than a pen, probably thinner than a pencil. Let me see if I even have a pencil on hand. I'm sure I do. I mean, you can see you can even see a mechanical pencil. It's pretty much the same thickness. I mean, it's probably a little thinner than this mechanical pencil. As far as including the case and all that, it's a little thicker than the mechanical pencil. If we're comparing maybe more like a pen, if we're comparing like a pen to it, it's roughly the same thickness, as you can see. The standard Uniball pen. As far as a pencil goes, which I do happen to have one here, and you can see it is pretty much, well, pencils, it's even thinner than a pencil, just by a smudge. I mean, you can see it's just thinner than a pencil, but including the case, it's a little thicker than a pencil. So pretty cool, Apple. I mean, they've done a pretty decent job with thinning down the iPad. Can the iPad be thinned out even more? I don't know. We'll find out when Apple releases the next iPad Pro. Honestly, for it having the M4 chip in it, which is a really nice upgrade. I mean, it is and it isn't. Okay, here's the downside. I've been using this thing for 2 weeks now. What have I noticed about it versus my other iPad, from which was the previous generation iPad Pro? I had the M2 11 inch 2022 edition iPad Pro, which featured 256 gigabytes. But I do notice that the battery life on the iPad Pro M4 doesn't last as long as I would expect it to. For example, so I play Minecraft on my iPad at times. So, of course, it's a video game that's going to probably bog down the battery life, of course, as we know. However, it's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. I mean, I know the first time I charged this iPad, it took like 4 or 5 hours before it finally charged completely. So that was a kind of a weird experience, because normally my iPad Pro M2 22 edition would charge within an hour. It would charge probably almost about an hour, I would say, at most. And that's being like all the way at 18 to 20%, and this was roughly the same percentage when I charged it. So, of course, this one took like 5 hours to charge the first time. The second time I charged it, it actually charged decently well. I mean, but it still takes a little longer than my previous generation iPad. Roughly, on average, this thing could take about maybe an hour and a half to charge, I would say. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 2. It could just be the way that Apple's operating system is incorporated to where you can check the battery life. You can have it charged to a certain percentage. You can do the optimized charging where it takes a lot longer to charge, purposely takes a lot longer to charge. So there's many different things of why it's taking a lot longer to charge. But I do notice when I'm playing Minecraft, the battery at first was dying down pretty quick. I mean, it was maybe even only getting, I would say maybe an hour worth of gameplay before the battery was getting pretty low. And that's with playing from a full 100% charge. So that's one thing I've noticed about the iPad Pro is that the M4 chip does consume a lot more battery power. And it does make sense why that's the case, because the M4 chip is a powerful chip for enhancing the iPad Pro's speed and productivity. So of course it makes sense why it's dying a lot quicker. They're rated for 10-hour battery life, which to me, they supposedly say that's like the average battery life for an iPad. 10 hours ain't bad. It's not bad right now. I mean, it's at 80%. I charged it a couple days ago. I haven't really used it a whole lot, but if you're watching TV, streaming videos, stuff like that, it should last quite a bit. Obviously, if you're running games, it's going to probably die a lot quicker. You could probably decrease the battery percentage probably more than half. I'd say probably 3/4 of your battery life, at least time span wise. You can incorporate it decreasing that much just because of the M4 power consumption. So yeah, you can probably decrease it by a lot. You'll die a lot quicker. But as far as the display goes, the display has been pretty decent. Colors are vibrant. And this isn't even at max brightness. I mean, we're barely a quarter of the way there. So if I increase the brightness to max, the colors vividly pop out. I mean, everything's stunning. It's a great display. Like I said, it's roughly rated for 1600 nits peak. You do get like the nano texture display option for the 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte models. This is a cellular version, as I stated before, with 512 gigabytes. I opted for the 512 gigabytes because I really don't store a whole lot on my iPad that would need to have over a terabyte's worth of storage. And I do have iCloud Plus, which I do have an additional 2 terabytes with that. So I'm well covered. Even my iPhone 16 Pro Max has 1 terabyte's worth of internal storage. So that isn't bad considering. As far as the overall camera quality, honestly, let's face it, nobody's really going to be taking pictures with their iPad. Not many people will. It's uncomfortable. There's no tripods big enough for an iPad, I don't think. And honestly, it's kind of hard to take photos with such a big screen. And so that's why Apple skimps on cameras, because you can kind of get away with it. I mean, even zooming in, even pretty close up, I mean, I guess it's better than I'm expecting. And I mean, you can kind of see how well the quality of the camera is. For up close things, scanning things, stuff like that, I mean, it's not bad. It is not bad at all. As far as zooming out and taking pictures of stuff far away, maybe not the best quality, but if you're zooming in, stuff's still pretty clear. You can see a lot of the grains of the plastic. It's not bad considering. You do get the flash and a few other little sensors, but you do miss out on one camera from the previous generation iPad Pro. Not like many people will be missing it. So as you can see, you just get the one camera in the corner. That is it. To get your flash. It's a pretty nice design overall. You can see it's a good size iPad. Looks pretty decent. Not really going to complain too much on the design. So pretty much your standard iPad Pro design, looking pretty good. So you do get your hookup for the keyboard case, which is also 300 bucks. So maybe not something I'll add right now, but something that I can definitely add later. So it is nice that Apple incorporated that feature. So how would I rate the iPad's design overall? It's thin. It might not be as easy to grip unless you have a case on it, which most of us probably will for a device this big and for this expensive. This one, of course, retails for $16.99, but honestly, have they improved the previous model's structural frame? I would say they have to a point. Last year's iPad Pro had an issue where the iPad would easily bend after they first thinned down the models, and honestly, it wasn't good. I mean, they didn't have any structural support in the middle whatsoever. So, of course, this thing folded very, very easily. This year, they added the center frame, which definitely adds a good amount of support in bending it. However, if you bend it the opposite way, you could still damage the iPad a lot. I mean, plus there's no structural integrity bending it this way. So that's the thing. If you bend it like this, you'll definitely break it. So yeah, that's one thing. Obviously, your failing points will be right here where the charging port is. These will snap right in half right there. And then off to the side here where we have our Apple Pencil connector, it will snap right here as well. Not as bad, but definitely it will. And then the other and then up here too where they have the microphone port, it will definitely snap right here. So yeah, there's still a lot of flaws with the new iPad as far as the structural integrity goes for it. But honestly, if you're a person that takes care of your iPads, doesn't really travel with it, gently uses them, carefully uses them, you'll have no problems. They're not going to break on their own. They're not going to bend on their own. Honestly, I guess that's really it. Hope this helped you in making a decision. If you're still here at the end of this video, thank you guys for watching. And, this is an update on how I've liked the iPad so far. So stay tuned for more videos and tech videos coming up. And take a look at my other ones if you haven't already. They're all on a playlist, so you can check them out. But anyway, as always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one.